Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shy Bears Blitz podcast. My name is Omar, and this is Abdul, and we got a great episode for you guys today.
So we're going to be recapping the past week in weekly news. We're going to be talking about the 1920 football drive summary. We're going to also be giving our tight end core ranks, and we're going to be summarizing the last year's defense and offense with statistics.
All right, let's get right into it.
So on last Thursday night, they released the 1920 football drive, and it featured the entire 2021 NFL draft and also the scout live leading up to it. It was pretty interesting to watch altogether. Oh, and it also included rookie minicamp too.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff in the 1920 video we've already seen, like the pre-draft processes with Thomas Graham Jr. and all the other draft prospects. But it was really nice to see some other aspects, like Matt Nagy acknowledging how Ryan Pace has been working his butt off the entire time and telling all the scouts, good job to everybody, and just take a rest, take a break. And it was nice to see the life of a scout, them going to Alabama, them going to other
it was interesting to see how stressful or how much work it is. How he said that he was one of the scouts is in hotels 200 days out of the year. It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, he was like, in one day I'm traveling an hour north to this university, then I'm traveling an hour south to this university, and doing another hour at this university and watching scouts. So they're just nonstop working as a scout. But I mean, that's the job they went for. They love that job.
Yeah.
They're just looking at how everybody is, their styles, their everything in terms of football, and that's just the life of a scout. And honestly, I think we have good scouts. Speaking of how they ranked or how they found the prospects in our draft, such as Thomas Graham Jr., Kairos Tonga, and if you want to go back to the previous draft, Darnell Mooney, and just those other late round hitters that we've had. And that's because of our scouts, and not many people acknowledge our scouts for their drafts too, because our drafts is not just Ryan Pace.
Yeah,
it's everybody also connected with him. So the scouts are a major factor into the draft process, and I'm just happy that we were able to see that behind the scenes and how just crazy the scout life is.
Yeah, it was mad interesting to see all of that and the scout life, and it was interesting to see all the interviews of Tevin Jenkins, of Justin Fields, of Thomas Graham, all those people. It's insane how many amount of interviews that they have to do, because the Bears is just one team out of 32, so they definitely have to do that so many times. It's interesting to see the responses to the questions asked and the confidence they gave with it. But I like that part. But then I also like the rookie minicamp. And there was one moment in that rookie minicamp that I'm sure just it blew up all over Twitter, all over Instagram, everything. Yeah. And so in this clip, Justin Fields is talking with Coach Flip, or John DeFilippo, the quarterback's coach. And they're talking about there's his center at Ohio State, Josh Myers. And so he says, "Who's your center?" And he says, "Josh Myers." And then he says, "Yeah, he was a senior." And he says, "Oh, what happened to him? He got drafted." And then Justin says he got drafted to the wrong team, to the Packers. And the internet blew up, dude. Everyone went crazy for this. Everyone went crazy, insane for this clip.
I mean, he's a Bears player in his heart.
Already, dude.
Already.
I love that. I love that. I have not seen.
So do I.
I have not seen a player give that like from the jump. He hasn't even played a snap for us yet, and he's already embracing the rivalry.
So I think that he actually doesn't like Wisconsin teams, or Wisconsin, like Michigan, those types of teams, because
Wisconsin.
There was somebody who said back in when he was in college or high school, I think it was college, where he said, "I don't like those teams. Like there's this team in the north that we're racing, they're whatever," and it was referencing to, I think, a Wisconsin team.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think he likes that Wisconsin region. And
Wisconsin isn't the Wisconsin in the Big Ten? I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about the Big Ten to say anything about the Big Ten. But going back to it, I'm very happy that every Bears fan was just hyped. It was extremely excited when you have your quarterback just talk about a rival like it's just a trash team. Going back to, if you remember, Mitchell Trubisky had a tweet out, I don't know, 8 years ago.
Go Packers. He said, "Yeah, go Packers."
So that was already
from Ohio.
Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah. That was already.
I guess he was just rooting for it, and there was definitely during the postseason, something like that. But it's fun to have a quarterback that's just as enthusiastic as the fans are. And he's saying this stuff behind closed doors. So you already know that he has that mentality that he wants to be the best. He wants to defeat the Packers because that should be on the quarterback's mind. The quarterback should value this game higher than any other game because it's the Bears versus the Packers. You should want to beat the Packers more than you want to beat regular teams. You still want to beat regular teams a great amount, but the Packers are especially like you want to have to beat that team with all your heart.
I mean, they're a divisional rival, and they've been our rivals since the very beginning. So there's history between us for decades. So when we see something like this, it just makes everybody
Yeah, it
happy.
just puts a smile
It just
on our
makes
face.
everybody happy.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Hopefully, some more footage comes out of them at rookie minicamp, or not rookie minicamp, them at training camp in the future.
The OTAs. Stuff
Yeah, there was some unfortunate news. Daz Newsome, he broke his collarbone during the rookie minicamp.
That's sad to see, but they said it was a clean break.
Yeah, they said it
so
was a
hopefully
clean break.
he can
Yeah.
recover from it.
Yeah.
But they said he'll be back by training camp, so that's all that matters. Is hopefully he can recover well. And I doubt this is gonna really impact his game because as it is a clean break and he'll recover perfectly fine. So he'll be back to where he was, and hopefully he doesn't really miss his skip a beat. So he attends those meetings and those practices still, and still just is able to build a connection with Justin Fields outside of just being inside the play. I wish him the best. I really like Des Newsome. But yeah, he'll be back by training camp. So
yeah, hopefully he'll be back and better than ever, and competing for that wide receiver 3 spot because we've got so many that are trying to compete for that spot.
Yeah.
In some new free agency news recently, so the Bears have been meeting with a bunch of people, or have been rumored to be meeting with some people. The Bears have had interest in Bashaud Breeland, but that eventually came to nothing. Bashaud Breeland, cornerback of the Kansas City Chiefs recently. He signed with the Minnesota Vikings.
I actually kind of wanted Bashaud Breeland because I feel like he would have been a solid cornerback too. And then we could have probably put Desmond Trufant on nickel, or vice versa. We probably could put him at nickel and had Desmond Trufant as our cornerback too. But I mean, props to Minnesota for getting him. I think he's not like an outstanding corner, but he's still a solid corner. So they did it for the price they got him. I think it was extremely solid.
No, it was smart. They need to build up that secondary because they just had Jeff Gladney. I think it was their first round pick just last year, who's probably going to be unavailable to them because he is dealing with some legal trouble at the moment. But so they've got a decent secondary though. I'm not gonna lie. Patrick Peterson, Cam Dantzler, who was a rookie, their third rounder last year. And now they have Bashaud Breeland, and they also have Harrison Smith, who's always solid. Who's every year he's one of the best safeties.
The Vikings really have picked up their pace in the defense. I mean, they had a lot of injuries last year.
That's why they definitely did.
As good. But they definitely picked it up, and now I think they're going to be such a threat coming into.
I think they're going to be a threat, but Danielle Hunter, I don't know. He's not showing up to anything, and it's rumors that he wants out.
I mean, even if Danielle Hunter is out, they still have Eric Kendricks.
They still have a good defense. But Danielle Hunter is a big piece of that. Yeah.
Big. And I mean, of course, as a Bears fan, hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't come back. Yeah, hopefully, but he might. It seems that there seems to be a trending theme of players not wanting to come back to their teams. With Rodgers not wanting to come back to his team. I wonder who's next. Who's next? Who from the Lions is going to back out and not want to return to their team this year?
I mean, I think if anyone wants to back out from the team, I think they'll just let him back out. There's no one good on the line.
Yeah.
Besides Hawk.
Some other free agency news. The Washington football team's right tackle, Morgan Moses, he met with the Bears recently. And that was great news to hear because we definitely need a right tackle because we're going to be hopefully putting Tevin Jenkins at the left tackle position. And then at the right tackle, we have Larry Borum and Jermaine Ifedi fighting for that spot. So it's going to be some competition, but I think Morgan Moses is a solidified starter if we could get him.
I would really like it if Morgan Moses came, but I'm pretty sure he said he was meeting with 3 teams, and we were one of them, and he met with the Jets prior to us. So he's meeting with another team, and then he'll make his decision to where. He's an extremely solid right tackle, extremely solid tackle in general. But if we were able to get him in the right tackle position, that'd be crazy. We would literally boost our offensive line.
We'd just be doing a swap, honestly.
Yeah, because they would take Leno.
Yeah.
But also swap sides, too. Because,
because he would be playing left tackle for them.
But if we were to get this, I would be very happy because Morgan Moses is a proven right tackle, and Jermaine Ifedi, he proved himself for some plays he goofed out. But I mean, Juan Castillo was saying he believes in Jermaine Ifedi to be a Pro Bowl tackle. But I mean that could just be coach talk and
Probably
him
is
just
coach
gassing
talk.
up his
Yeah, he definitely is
yeah
just gas.
gassing up
This
his
is,
tackle.
but
But Morgan Moses is proven. And if we were to get him, and here, let me tell you this lineup. So we have Tevin Jenkins at left tackle. He's not proven in the NFL, but we've all seen how he plays in college, and he looks like he'll be extremely solid at the left tackle position. So we have Tevin Jenkins at left tackle. We have Cody Whitehair at left guard. Sam Mustipher at center. We have James Daniels at right guard, and we have Morgan Moses at right tackle. I think that's just
that is a
such a
very
solid
solid
O-line.
O line.
Compared to what we've had. I think this is an extremely solid
Last year we
O-line.
were just shuffling our O line, like so many different combinations, just trying to find out what is right. And it took so long, and we started to pick up the pace. And people say that it's just because we were playing bad teams, but I think that like it's proven in the tape that Cody Whitehair, when he switched to left guard, he was very efficient, and the formation just fit around him. And when Must first started playing center, so many different formations we appreciate, like all together once we started clicking towards the end of the year. Yeah, people were saying that our O-line was just only good because we were playing bad teams at the end of the year, because we were playing the Texans, we were playing the Lions, we were playing the Jaguars, we were playing some not very good teams, and even the Vikings, their D-line without Danielle Hunter last year. But I think that's honestly not very true, because the defensive formation or our offensive line formation looked great when we had Musfer at center and we had Cody Whitehair at left guard. Cody Whitehair was making big moves, opening up holes for Monty to go through, and it's honestly his true position. Like he performed best when he was there instead of center. So I think that we have to keep that O-line formation and add more pieces to it, like especially Morgan Moses.
I mean, yeah. So for Whitehair and James Daniels, because everyone's forgetting about James Daniels, how he didn't play last season. For Whitehair, his true position is guard, and for James Daniels, his true position is guard. They try to both make both into center. While Whitehair did succeed at center, and Daniels, who we saw in 2019, they tried him at center, but he didn't really succeed as well. If they put him at guards, they're both Pro Bowlers. They're both extremely solid offensive linemen. And then Mustard comes in as he was undrafted, right? Sam Mustard, yeah. So Mustard comes in and it performs extremely well. I think Olin Kreutz was very high on Sam Mustard coming in, and I think there was a lot of other O-line coaches who were very high on Sam Mustard being a center. Which I remember before they even put Mustard in during the season. And now that Mustard came in and actually balled out and did extremely well in that center, I think he was our final piece of the puzzle for that O-line last year. And now we have to work on the left tackle now that Charles Leno's out, and we got Tevin Jenkins, and then we have to work on that right tackle, which we have Jermaine Ifedi versus Larry Borom, which we can't really trust those guys yet because Larry Borom's a 5th-round pick, and Jermaine Ifedi is a.
I hope that Larry
work in
Borom
progress.
is like the Michael. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Onwenu, the Patriots guard / tackle that he played last year, who was one of the best rookie, just like an absolute steal. I'm hoping that we have like that's our pick this year, where we had Larry Borom in the 5th round. That would
I mean,
be
he was
absolutely.
consistent. He was consistent.
Oh
with
yeah,
Mizzou.
his stats look great at Mizzou.
Yeah.
Like he
So
allowed like no pressures or almost little to no pressures.
so I've a lot of high hopes for Larry Borom, and hopefully Jermaine Ifedi can. I really am feeding like drinking the Kool-Aid that Juan Castillo was saying that he's going to be a Pro Bowl
Yeah,
tackle.
you
I
say
don't
this a lot. You actually this is in your brain. Like
I don't think he's going to be like Pro Bowl, but I think he'll be like good.
you'll
I
think he'll be really
I think
good.
he'll be good. Yeah, I mean Juan Castillo is a solid offensive line coach, and I think he'll be good. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we had a
Yeah.
lot of offensive line struggles last year due to injury. I mean, everyone
Yeah,
was
we had
injured
so
too.
many
That's why
injuries. We
everyone
had
doesn't
Bobby
remember.
Massey. We had Spriggs, who when Spriggs was in the formation, he
And
was
Spriggs
getting
was
injured.
our backup too when he was
Yeah,
injured.
and he was getting
So we had to go
injured.
to
We had
backup
so
and
many
backup.
injured.
Yeah,
It
so
was not
through
good.
maybe-
But
and
that
James Daniels, of
led
course.
to Mustapher starting in the lineup. So grateful
So
for
I
that.
mean, yeah. So diamond in the rough type
Yeah.
thing. And now I think if Morgan Moses comes, even if Morgan Moses doesn't come, I think we have a solid O line. But Morgan Moses comes, I think our O line is.
I
literally
think
just,
without Morgan Moses, our O line is in the 16 to 20 rankings, probably around that range. I think that's fair to say. I think that with him though, I think we go from that to like 10 to 15 with
Morgan Moses. Yeah, I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't say 10. I would say around like 15. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah, the 10 to 15 range. I think like without him though, we're like like around, because last year we were like the 16th ranked O line. So I think
Were we really?
yeah,
Towards what, the end of the season,
yeah.
or
Well,
like
I
those
mean, like
last few games?
as a collective, we were
No
the
way. We
no.
were
I'm for
horrible.
real. I'm
Oh my
pretty.
god. If we were the 16th, if we get Morgan Moses, we could probably make it 10 then. If O lines are really that bad around the league. But why? That's actually crazy because we had
Yeah.
disgusting offensive line play.
I'm looking at PFF right now, and oh no, I was lying. I
What?
was definitely lying. Looking for the Bears right now.
I honestly thought we were between the 25 to 32 range. I really thought we were in that
We were
bottom
at 20. PFF ranked us as 20 last year.
20.
And that's kind of
Wow.
super. Yeah, I thought we were a little bit higher, but I mean, because we picked it up at the end of the season. But
I think for the majority of the season we were honestly 28 or 29. I think we had one
you
of the
think
worst
that?
O-lines.
Yeah, we did not have a great O line for the majority of the
We
season.
did not. And like, towards the end of the season, probably boosted
PFF
it
is
up.
projecting us as 27 next year.
Really, they have
Yeah.
us as worse.
They have us projected a lot.
I don't.
Well,
Dude,
it's because of
so
our
hard to
schedule.
trust PFF.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
it's because of
That's
our
very
schedule.
true.
We have to face like disgusting D lines. We have to face the Rams. We have to face Steelers, the Browns. The Cardinals are gonna have a good D line.
Yeah, with JJ Watt and Chandler Jones.
Yeah. Who else? The Niners have a decent D line. The Ravens. I like the Ravens D line.
Low-key, the Packers have a good D line too. They do.
Good is a very stretched term. Zedarius is good.
Zedarius is good.
Kenny Clark is decent.
He's decent, and then that one dude who popped off, I forgot his name.
Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary's solid too.
Rashawn,
And
yeah.
honestly, Preston Smith is like our who's the other really bad player on our team?
Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn. Preston Smith is our Robert Quinn. Yeah, Preston Smith.
I was
get worse.
I was just thinking about Robert Quinn today, like how good he has to do for us to keep him next year, because you know next, so in 2022 we're projected around 60 million in cap. What does he need to do this year to perform so that we keep him? Because
he has to get 10 sacks this season.
10 sacks, you think minimum?
I think he has to get 10.
I was saying 8.5, and they were saying if he gets 8.5, we have to keep him, like a couple of our friends. But I think that's still too little. Like the amount of like his contract money.
Yeah, his contract is literally massive.
And we have so many people.
And he's
re-sign.
old too. So he has to prove himself that he's actually extremely solid. So minimum 10
10
sacks.
sacks? Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think
that's
I
fair.
think minimum 10 sacks. Because he has to make up for what he did last year. So minimum
If
10 sacks.
if he wants to make up for what he did last year, he has to get 20 sacks this year.
I'm fine with 10 sacks. We can split it 5-5. Or actually, like, what? He had
imagine if we had first snap Robert Quinn every snap. Oh my god.
Oh my god. All pro Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year. Just always strip sack fumbles. Crazy.
The amount of excitement I got from that one like first snap, I'm like, wow, our D line is gonna be absurd this year.
You know what was going in my head when that happened? When he pummeled the thing from Jones, Daniel Jones. I was like, dude, our defensive line is literally going to carry us. We're going to be like the 2018 Bears. We're going to make it to the Super Bowl. We're out to Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn is
all in
unstoppable.
week
Keep
2
Hicks in the middle. No one's going to stop us. We're going to be the best. And then all of a sudden he just does nothing for the rest
Our
of the
D line
game.
will be good this year, though. I was seeing PFF ranked us as the 6th best D line next year. That's a little bit of shade though, because they put the Eagles over us, and I don't think the Eagles have a better D line. But they put the Steelers above us. They put the Washington football team. They also put the Rams above us, which is fair. But
Those
they put
two
us
are fair, and the Browns I think is fair.
Yeah.
And the Browns I think is fair.
They put all those teams above us, but they're very underestimating. They're underestimating us a lot because Eddie Goldman is coming back, and then Robert Quinn is coming back from injury.
Eddie Goldman's coming back. We have Akeem Hicks still. We have Bilal Nichols, who started going crazy towards the end of the season. Khalil Mack. Did I say Khalil Mack?
Yeah, fully healthy Khalil Mack.
I'm not gonna say Robert Quinn, but we have Jeremy Atauchu also.
Yeah, they had the rankings. They had Steelers at number 1, football team at number 2, Buccaneers at 3. I think it's a little bit of shade to the Buccaneers because the Buccaneers had the best D line last year, or one of the best D lines actually. They had the Rams at 4. Eagles at 5, and the Bears at 6. I think That's
Okay,
disrespectful.
I replace. I'm actually fine with that list, but I replace Browns with Eagles.
With Jadeveon Clowney's on that team now. I
Jadeveon
forgot.
Clowney, Miles Garrett, literally freaks.
That is fair.
I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's very fair putting that above the Bears. I was gonna say that's a little bit of shade towards the Bears, but the thing is,
I
like,
mean, no, I mean we don't as much as we really want to put like the Bears top three. Khalil Mack didn't
nah.
perform last year as much as he should have. Akeem Hicks is injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Goldman, we all know, is injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Quinn, we know Robert Quinn. So like
Yeah.
I by paper, like on paper, we look like we have a really good defensive
Yeah,
line.
but on paper we
But
got like a top 4 D line, but
every time we have something good on paper, it doesn't work out because we've had a solid defense on paper for the past 2 seasons and it hasn't worked out. So
I
I don't
think
trust on paper anymore. I trust like what you actually do.
bold. I think that our D line will be better than the Rams because the Rams is
Really?
Aaron Donald, and Leonard Floyd, and
What?
I do not believe in Leonard Floyd.
Bro, it does not matter. Aaron Donald's the
I
defensive
know
player
it's
of the year
Aaron
every year.
Donald, but it's only Aaron Donald. That's it.
Yeah,
Leonard
but like,
Floyd. That's it. It's
but
only
like,
Aaron
you
Donald,
put Aaron Donald and then you would line anyone up with him,
and then they
they're
can
gonna
produce.
get as many sacks as like Khalil Mack will, because he'll just always open it up.
That is fair.
He'll always
But
produce.
I don't know. I'm not a Leonard Floyd believer, so that's just me.
I mean, I'm not a Leonard Floyd believer either.
Yeah,
Trust me.
he got the
I'm not a
empty
Leonard-
sacks pretty much.
Listen, we got Charles Snowden, undrafted free agent, who literally looks.
I've been watching
or,
a couple
who-
videos on him. He looks decent.
He plays just like Leonard Floyd. I've mentioned this before when we talked
Yeah.
about undrafted free agents. He plays just like he's extremely fast, lengthy. Like the dude.
He's
will
like
literally
you got
be
like the
Leonard
slender
Floyd.
build because he's not like typical build like
Yeah.
an actual like NFL edge rusher like his actual build.
He's just
very-
fast. He's very fast, like Leonard Floyd was. That's all Leonard Floyd has. Leonard Floyd doesn't have power. He just has speed.
If he comes
what
out
he
and he's
looks like.
better than Robert Quinn, well, I mean that's not very hard to beat, but
I mean, I'll be happy.
yeah.
My bad. Excuse my language. I'll be happy.
No. But to move on to our next free agents, there are a couple of free agents that are still left. Free agent cornerback Steven Nelson is a pretty good pick. He's still a free agent. He played with the Steelers last season, but he previously played with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that we need to lock up another cornerback definitely for this
I
roster.
think if we can get him, well, no, like a vet min, or honestly, if we can get him for cheap,
Mhm.
we should definitely lock him up because he'll be a solid cornerback.
Mhm.
Especially in that nickelback position because we really need help in that nickelback position.
That's facts. And same with Mitchell Schwartz. He would be another solid pick to boost the O-line as well.
If we get, is he a guard?
No, he's a tackle. I'm pretty sure.
He's a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
If we get Morgan Moses, I think I'd rather have Morgan Moses because I think Morgan Moses would be cheaper.
Yeah,
And
I think he'd be cheaper as well.
and we don't really have that much cap, so I think Morgan Moses would be a better option if we can get him over Mitchell Schwartz.
Yeah, that is fair. I think Morgan Moses would be a solid pick as well. But then we also one more person that's still on the market is Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is old, but still,
Dude, he's
if we
he's
had
still
Richard,
good, but
he's still decent. And if we could have Richard Sherman, pretty much just develop Jalen Johnson.
I don't think Richard Sherman is gonna play for the money we can give him. I think Richard Sherman still extremely well, and somebody will pay him
You think
if they
so?
want him. Yeah,
But
I think if he wants to play for
it's
a team,
almost
somebody
it's
will pay
almost the
him.
middle of June. I know, but
That's true. It's very weird why. I mean, he wasn't like he was still extremely solid with the Niners.
mhm.
I don't know why like the Jets even haven't picked him up with Robert Saleh, and that's like his boy.
Speaking of the Jets, so now that we've concluded our talk about free agency news, all the New York media has been vouching for the New York Jets to trade for Nick Foles. Please trade for Nick Foles.
Really?
There's so many articles.
that's-
So many articles have just been coming out saying we need Nick Foles because our quarterbacks are James Taylor and some other random. And if Zach Wilson goes down, we're completely screwed because these guys are practice squad quarterbacks. They're literally practice squad quarterbacks. And if he stays on the roster, we're just going to be playing Nick Foles $7 million for nothing. That's $7 million. That's a lot of money that can go to someone.
Yeah, Nick Foles is an extremely solid backup. No one can like deny his backup ability. He's one of the top backups.
He came
in the
back.
league.
He was a backup. He came in the middle of a game and he won us a game down 16 points.
He's one of the best backups in the league, if not the best backup.
He
Of the,
is.
actually,
He is the best
he
backup
is the
of
best
all.
backup
He's the
because
best backup of all
he won
time.
it. Yeah, because he won the Super Bowl as a backup quarterback. So he's the best backup in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, so if you
And their
want
cap
somebody
hit
to
would be
mentor,
much lower on him because they would
yeah,
have to restructure.
if you want to mentor your quarterback, and you need a good backup quarterback, you should get Nick Foles. I think that's a really good like. No, I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bears fan. I want to get rid of Nick Foles just because we have Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. But I think for the Jets, it'd be an extremely good, like, smart decision for them to get Nick Foles as your backup quarterback. But of course, you're gonna have to trade away a pick. And honestly,
I'll take a
the
seventh.
seventh rounder, yeah, just take Nick Foles. I mean, we really don't want him. We would cut him by the dead cap, but it doesn't matter because you're gonna get
Yeah,
a
we wouldn't
solid backup
benefit
quarterback.
anything pretty much from cutting him.
Yeah.
It has to be a
So,
trade to save the money.
so we'll take a seventh, or we'll take $100.
Yeah, literally anything. All right,
So
guys.
yeah, go ahead.
So now we're gonna go over to our tight end core rank series. We're continuing our core rank series. We've covered our running backs and our wide receivers, and so now we're gonna be talking about our tight ends in the NFC North. So my rankings currently for the core rankings are Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings. And the players on those teams, the Bears have Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. The Lions have T.J. Hawkinson and Darren Fells. The Packers have Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis. And the Vikings have Irv Smith Jr. and Tyler Conklin.
All right, let me just make one. I'm gonna ask one question. Is this including Aaron Rodgers?
Including Aaron Rodgers, still,
Like Aaron
yes,
Rodgers
yes.
is still okay.
Including Aaron Rodgers, still. Because Mercedes Lewis is primarily a blocking tight end, and Robert Tonyan, he had like 500. He had a great season, but skill. This is incorporating skill as well. I think that Tonyan isn't as skilled as T.J. Hawkinson, and I pretty much my rankings. The Bears are number one, but they're close. They're close to the Lions. Like it could go either way because Hawkinson is so talented. Hawkinson is the best tight end in the division. But Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet are a solid duo. Jimmy Graham is one of the best. He was one of the best red zone threats for tight ends. But then you also have Cole Kmet, who was the best rookie tight end last year, and he's a very solid blocker. And that's just seeing his development. I'm projecting this for 2021 because his development should jump. I watched a video analyzing his play, and he extends plays. There was this one play where he goes straight. He goes right over the middle. He cuts his route short so that Trubisky can get him the ball, and he extends the play, and he gets the first down. He extends plays. His route tree needs to be opened up more. He needs to play more snaps. So I think Cole Kmet is going to take a big jump next year. And then having Jimmy Graham on the roster as well to coach him, to develop him all together, I think that we're going to have a solid tight end core next year.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham but like Jimmy Graham is still aging.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the season, we rarely used Jimmy Graham. Like the only other time we really used him was like in a couple of games for a touchdown. This is just an end zone threat, which he is an end zone threat. And Cole Kmet, of course, is the athletic beast. But of course, we have that worry with him fumbling the ball. Honestly, I'm gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna put Lions as the best, as them having the best.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, because I mean, T.J. Hawkinson by far the best tight end in our division, skill wise. And I was talking with you earlier, and because I was thinking Tonyan at 1st would be the best production wise, but then I forgot that like
Hawkinson is the only receiving option on the team.
Literally the only receiving option, and also that the Packers got Amari Rodgers, and I honestly believe that he's gonna add more to that.
Oh yeah, Tonyan is going to be the number 3 on that team.
Yeah,
actually, not even the number 3 because first is going to go Devontae, 2 is going to go Aaron Jones, and then 3 is going to go Amari Rodgers.
I have faith in Amari Rodgers.
He's probably 4 or 5 if you're even counting AJ Dillon. So he's going to be way below on the depth chart. But yeah, that is very fair. As a core, yeah.
Yeah, so I have the Lions because Hawkinson, of course, the best tight end. And Darren Fells is still a solid tight end. People forget Darren Fells was solid tight end for the Texans. I think he's still a solid tight end, and I think he'll prove that like just be whatever they need for a tight end to be for the Lions. And he's like our Jimmy Graham, just not as good as Jimmy Graham. But I mean, T.J. Hawkinson, the gap between him and the next tight end in our division is just that big.
It's a very big gap. Yeah.
So that's why I think the Lions have the best.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
It's pretty close to
and then
me,
the
but
Bears.
I have high hopes for Cole Kmet next year to take a big jump.
I like Pokemon. Yeah.
Jimmy Graham is decent. He's the red zone demon. But then there's the Packers who have Robert Tonyan, who was a beast last year. He had, I think it was the second most, or maybe it was the most touchdowns by a tight end last year. Maybe
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
he did.
it was probably more than Kelsey or around that range. And then they re-signed Mercedes Lewis to another year. Is it Kels?
It's Kels.
It's Kels? It's not
Yeah,
Kelsey?
I just had to fix that. It's Kels. Yeah.
Are you for real?
I honestly thought it was Kelsey at first too, but then like in the games they kept on saying what's it called? They just kept on
Kels.
saying Kels, and then
Mhm.
even for like his brother, they're like Jason Kels.
Oh,
So I was
that's
like,
gonna be
oh okay,
tough to figure
that's
out. That's
Kels.
to
Yeah.
switch. But yeah, so Tanyan and Lewis, they're all right. I mean, Lewis is like 40, so
Yeah, I mean, but Mercedes was still one of the best
yeah, he's a great
blocking tight
blocking
ends.
tight end. Yeah,
Yeah, one of the best blocking tight ends. And
and then
Tonyan still athletically good, not as
mhm.
good as Tuckerton or Cole Kmet in my opinion, but he can still catch the ball and
He
run his
gets
routes
open
well,
with the LaFleur
and he gets
scheme.
open. So I mean, there's nothing he could do more than that to prove say that he's not a bad tight end. I think he's a solid tight end,
Hmm.
and I agree with you. I think the Packers have the third best wide receiver or wide tight end room,
Hmm.
and the Vikings have the fourth with Irv Smith. I don't think Irv Smith has really proven himself. I really don't think Irv Smith has
I
proven himself at
think
all.
he hasn't proven himself because there's just an order of priority. Number one, we've got Justin Jefferson. Number two, number one is Dalvin Cook or slash Justin Jefferson. And then number three is Adam Thielen. And then Kyle Rudolph was on the team last year, and Kyle Rudolph was eating receptions. So now he's
Yeah,
got that whole tight end room to himself, pretty much. So he should be getting some more work in this year. I think definitely.
yeah. I mean, but I honestly think that like he'd probably be just like as much work as Jimmy Graham will. Honestly, that's honestly what I believe.
I can see that. I don't know. I don't know. I think he'll get a decent amount of work, not a crazy amount because of
I
all
don't,
the offensive weapons on the team.
I'm an Irv Smith hater. I don't.
You're an Irv
I'm
Smith
not. I'm not.
hater.
A, I'm not a hater. I just don't have faith in him
You're not a
as many
crazy
people do.
believer. No, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm not a crazy believer.
For the individual rankings, though, we both agree that Hawkinson is number one.
Hmm.
I think number two is Robert Tonyan. I think number three is Cole
I
Kmet.
I think Kmet will take number two
You think
because
Kmet will take number two?
I think because Kmet towards the end of the season we saw him being used more. They
Mm-hmm.
used him and just his skill set I think is better
Mm-hmm.
than Tonyan's.
Oh, I think yeah, skill set and athletically, I think that Kmet is better, but
And I
he
think
doesn't
now that
have
we have
LaFleur's scheme.
yeah, but I think now that I mean, listen, people diss Matt Nagy. Matt
Mm-hmm.
Nagy's a bad play caller, but he's not a bad
He gets his receivers open.
play design like
Mm-hmm.
coach. So yeah, he always gets his receivers open. And if we can get a quarterback to throw to Cole Kmet, because he likes using tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Nagy loves using tight ends. So that's why I think Kmet will be better. I mean, he might not have the same amount of production as
Because he doesn't have the
it'll-
MVP throwing to him,
yeah,
but
but I think he'll have close and just the fact that he has a better athletic ability and he's a better blocker than Tonyan is, in my opinion.
no,
I
definitely.
think that Kmet will be better. And so
That's fair.
I have him as two.
And then right after that, at five, or not at five, at four, I have Irv Smith
At
Jr.
three. Oh wait, no, because yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We have Tonyan Kmet
Yeah.
at four. My bad.
And then at four, I have Irv Smith Jr. And then at five, I have Jimmy Graham.
See, this could be interchanged with me, but yeah, I'll have Irv Smith just because he's younger and Jimmy Graham's on a decline. While Irv Smith is still young and
Mm-hmm.
he's not gonna have to share that tight end room as you said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I'll have Irv Smith will have a better season than Jimmy Graham, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they have a similar season.
Yeah. No, that's fair. All right. Next, we're going to switch over to the offense recap. So check out this analysis done by Sharp Clark on the Chicago Bears' 2020 team study. And so there have been some graphs. He created some graphs of the point systems allocated towards our offense. Last year, our offense DVOA was 29th overall, which is not a good look at all. But no, it's not very surprising when you look at how the team performed last year.
So our offense was honestly probably like 30th to 32nd in the league. It was just absolutely disgusting.
It was.
If DVOA could be worse, it's like it'd be hard to find something
It's
worse.
being nice to us, honestly.
Yeah, it's honestly being nice to us because our offense last year was literally atrocious,
Hmm.
and that's including with Matt Nagy's play calling, which we switched to Bill Lazor, but then it was also including the horrible O line play
Hmm.
because of just the amount of injuries, horrible QB play, and the lack of production with other receivers besides Allen Robinson and Mooney, which we would depend on if we had solid QB play. Because I mean, look at it. How many overthrown passes were to Mooney, and how many just like bad passes were to A-Rob, and A-Rob had to just reach out as much as he can just to get those passes. It's just all with our QB and our O line. If
Hmm.
we fix those, in my opinion, we fix those, I think our offense will be better. But last year it was atrocious. It was
I think
atrocious.
I think we've upgraded so much on offense with getting more receivers in. We've got Damian Williams. We've got Tariq Cohen back. We have Justin Fields at quarterback, though he might
And
not be
Andy Dalton.
starting. And Andy
And Andy,
Dalton. Oh
and
yeah,
Andy Dalton. Yeah.
Andy Dalton's gonna be a
Hey, I
threat.
think Andy Dalton is honestly better than Trubisky and Foles. I'm saying that with
That's
full
not
confidence.
even that's bad.
I'm saying that with full confidence.
Full confidence.
Full
I don't
confidence.
know. I don't know about full. They're
Bro,
they're 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 close to me.
Eddie Dalton came back from a concussion with the Cowboys and still like honestly performed statistically better than Dick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky did. With a
Nick.
horrible, they had a worse O line because their O
Okay,
line was
okay,
worse.
okay.
The Cowboys O line was worse.
I'll give you the Nick Foles. I'll give you that he's better than Nick Foles because
And I saw this. I should have saved it honestly. I saw a statistic where Nick Foles had the highest percentage of drop passes last year.
he had the highest percentage of
The
drop
highest
passes.
percentage of drop passes last year.
That is
So
absurd.
and Nick Trubisky and Nick Foles had the lowest percentage of drop passes. Just keep that in mind.
Are you saying Andy Dalton had the most drop passes?
Andy Dalton had the highest percentage, not the most drop passes, the
Oh,
highest
the highest
percentage.
percent. Oh, okay, because
Because
you said Nick Foles.
yeah. So no, and then I said Trubisky and Nick Foles had the lowest.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had the
Okay.
lowest. Because we have solid
Yeah,
receivers,
our,
no
our
drop
receivers are
passes.
Darnell Mooney and Darnell Mooney had the best hands of the rookie class, and then Allen Robinson is known for having
Great hands.
the
Yeah,
best hands in the league or the second best
best
hands in the
contested.
league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
best contested catch wide
yeah,
receiver in the league.
hands down. But looking at this graph, there's a couple. It's pretty accurate, honestly, on our offensive performances. You can see that when we played Minnesota in Week 10, our offense was all the way at the bottom. It's our worst offensive performance when we had 149 yards of offense.
And New Orleans.
And New Orleans, Oh, yeah, that was in the playoffs and the wild card round.
Yep.
Our offense was not good that game, but we probably would be on par with them if Javon Wims caught that pass. Honestly,
Yeah, but
that game was a very winnable game. It was a very winnable game.
it was winnable because our defense was holding the Saints offense like back, but
Mhm.
there was really nothing we could do with Javon Wims breaking it.
Yeah.
And I mean, even still, like Mitchell Trubisky wasn't performing that great the rest of
What
the
do you
game.
mean? He was the MVP.
He was the MVP.
Yeah,
by
he won
fan
the
vote.
award. He won the
By-
award
by-
at the end of the game.
By fan vote because people pitied him and wanted to do it as a joke.
I love
because
how Big
bad
Cat
it
did
was.
that on Twitter.
That's actually hilarious. Yeah, the MVP,
Mhm.
man. I kind of miss our MVP, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Trubisky,
Crazy.
though, there was another table that compared Trubisky versus Foles, and they're pretty much the same player. Trubisky had 5.3 air yards per completion, and Foles had 5.7. So Foles a little bit more. Trubisky had 5.0 yards after catch per completion, and Foles had 3.5. So Foles had less assistance in the yards after catch department. Foles attempted more yards per attempt. He had 6.9 and Foles had 5.9. But then Trubisky, more mobile, obviously had 195 rushing yards, and then Nick Foles had 1. So Nick Foles, I was seeing some analysis on this. Yeah, the statue. Nick Foles, the offense. Trubisky played better with the worse. The offensive line definitely benefited from having Trubisky because Trubisky can move around in the pocket. Although he wasn't very great at it, he extended plays or he could roll out, and Foles can't really do that at his age and his like stature and his skill set altogether. He can't really do that.
Yeah. And I just think that Trubisky is athletic, but like you're trading accuracy and arm strength with Nick Foles with
That's facts. It
with
is a trade.
mobility.
It's
So
like what do you value more?
and both of them just didn't work because with accuracy and arm strength, you
Mm.
have no what's it, like a scrambleness,
Ability to
rush
scramble.
scram ability
Yeah.
to scramble. So like anytime he wanted to throw or escape, he just get caught
Mm.
because like he would have to step into an offensive line and push back. So that went on the decline. And then Trubisky, yeah, he could scramble around a little bit and run, but one, he was scared to run
Mm.
for some reason. He's just mentally weak, in my opinion. And
You gotta
two,
relax on him, man. You're a
but I mean, no, because like you can't deny that he's not mentally weak. If you're going around House Hall turning off the TVs because you can't handle the heat of media,
that's
if you're going,
is that like that?
that's
Like
an actual.
you're
That's an
not joking.
actual.
That actually
I'm not
happened.
joking. I'm not joking. That actually happened.
That's
So like
crazy.
you're telling me you can't handle media as a
Mhm.
professional athlete, not even football player, as an athlete, you can't handle media like that just because they're saying, oh, you're not
To
succeeding
give like a
just because of a ball.
comparison, I don't know if you saw the video of Justin Fields going to the media right after his Indiana game where he had the worst game of his entire career, threw 3 interceptions, and he talks to all of them and he walks them through each interception and why it happened and why he needs to do better. Like that's I don't
But
know, that's crazy to like see like the
I
contrast.
think nothing can phase Justin Fields
Mm.
mentality. Nothing can media, not the public, not social media. Nothing can phase Justin Fields. But Mitchell Trubisky, but I've talked about this before. I
Mm.
literally talk about this all the time. Just mentally weak. Media, social media, they'll all affect him. And I think he was scared to run for some reason.
He
I think
was
he was
scared to
scared to
run
scramble.
after his injury. After
Yeah.
he got injured, he didn't really scramble.
So and that was his
And
strong
he
suit.
can move. Like you watch
Yeah, he
games
can
like the
move.
Cowboys game in 2019 where he had like 70 something rushing yards and he had that one crazy 40-yard rushing touchdown. Like if we had that in it, like he can do it, but he just
Yeah,
doesn't.
but
Like
like he doesn't have that mentality. Like I said, he's mentally weak in my opinion, and also he doesn't want to scramble anymore,
mhm.
and that's his strong suit. That's like why that's the only strength he has because he doesn't have accuracy. He has arm strength, but he doesn't have accuracy, so it doesn't matter about his arm strength. It's
Mhm.
literally useless. So that's why like you're trading one for one.
Yeah,
And what if you want to bring in Andy Dalton? I think Andy Dalton is a
you're
better
trading
scrambler than
everything
Nick
away.
Foles, a better scrambler than Nick Foles, but a worse scrambler than Trubisky. But he
Mhm.
has better accuracy than Trubisky.
That's a fair comparison. Yeah, I
So I
think
mean,
Andy Dalton will be like. I think Andy Dalton is very underrated. Not underrated, but he's slandered because of his performance last year in Dallas. But he had a bottom six O line. He had his receivers are great, but his receivers, CeeDee Lamb had one of the most drops in the league. He almost led the league in drop.
I told
Uh,
you, man. Like keep that in mind. Andy Dalton had the highest percentage of drop
yeah, that's
passes in the
absurd.
league. In
And he
the
had like
league,
what
it
he
was
had a
like
great receiving core, but they were
yeah,
dropping passes.
and it was over 20% or
Yeah.
something. And he had I think the Cowboys' whole line was worse than ours. I
No,
think because with all
it
the
was,
injuries,
it
yeah.
was, yeah, it
So
was.
they had an even worse O line.
Mhm.
So like, picture like Andy Dalton, and honestly, when you look at Andy Dalton, like statistically, like it was just as good as like Trubisky or Foles.
Mhm.
With paper, with worse receiving help and offensive line help. That's why I just think like, with full confidence, I could say Andy Dalton will be a better quarterback than Trubisky because he's technically, honestly, he's the best quarterback we've ever had.
That's fair. Looking at some other comparisons, talking about our offense. So there was an Sharp did a offensive adjusted rating by Monty slash A-Rob opponents, and if you look at this graph, Monty pretty much gets no carries in the beginning of the year, doesn't really perform, and towards the beginning of the year he was getting barely any carries. He was getting less than 10 to 15 around that range, 15 to 20 actually around that range, and towards the end of the year he started getting that 20, 25, 25 to 30. He was getting carries, and when you give Monty volume he performs. And so you see, and especially with A-Rob is the entire offense. I think there was a statistic that we didn't lose a game when A-Rob got the ball more than 10 times. That's kind
I
of
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
if
It's
that's
crazy to think
if we
about.
because we don't get the ball to him 10 times. One,
Mm-hmm.
because bad play calling. Two, because
Mm-hmm.
bad quarterback play. So if he's our best receiver. He literally
Yeah, he's
catches
the
anything.
backbone of the offense.
He moves the chains all the time if you give him a chance. So and I mean, if we can get Arabs all depend on quarterback play. Arab's
Mm-hmm.
not a bad player. Arab's only dependent on quarterback play. Monty proved himself when he got
Mm-hmm.
carries too. As soon as he got carries, he kept on going on. As soon as the O-line got a little bit better, the dude was getting like over 100 yards almost every game. It was like 150.
He was
like,
yeah,
was crazy.
his high was, I think it was around 140 against Minnesota, but he was getting like around close to 100 towards like the last stretch of the year or of the season. He was going on those runs. He had that 80-yard run against the Texans. He was having hella runs.
And like he had a large run against like Green Bay.
Yeah, he had over
like
a 50-yard
large run
run
against like the Jaguars. Like he was just having crazy runs like nonstop. Just give him a hole. That's all you need to give him on.
And then talking about A-Rob with good quarterback play is scary. How many yards do you think he'll have if Fields starts, let's say, 13 games? So if we put in Fields week 3, how many yards do you think A-Rob has?
I think like 12 to 1300.
I think 1300 to 1350, around that range.
That's I agree. That's fine. Yeah, that's like I could see it.
He does. He gets like 1200. He gets 1200 with, actually that might be a little bit low. We might be underestimating him.
If he gets around 12. We don't want to underestimate it because we still have like solid receivers. That's true. Now we have to remember that Mooney's going to get more receptions now that he's proven himself to be good. Yeah. Cole Kmet will get too, because we only use Jimmy Graham really in the end zone, but Cole Kmet can be used like anywhere on the field, so he'll get more receptions. We still have Demir Bird, we still have Marquise Goodwin, we still have Anthony Miller, we still have
there's a lot of mouths to feed.
We have a lot of mouths to feed. So, and Monty and Tariq Cohen are coming back. Tariq Cohen's gonna expand, and Damian Williams is also a solid pass catching back. So I would say like if we just always targeted A-Rob, the dude can get like 1,600 yards.
Yeah,
but like,
if we only targeted A-Rob, he'll probably have like the Calvin Johnson 2012 season, like 2,000 yards, close to.
But like the thing is, like we have so much more talent than we did before.
We do.
So that's why I think like 12 to 1,300 is what I believe.
So now to switch over to the defense. Last year we had the 7th ranked defense, and looking at this graph, our defense performed above average against most teams. We had our best game against Tennessee, which honestly doesn't very much. Well, that's kind of weird because Tennessee, our offense was the one that was in.
It was our offense. Our defense was good.
Our defense was good.
Because like when you think about, we held Derrick Henry to like 40 yards.
We did. Oh yeah, Derrick Henry had a terrible game against us. Now that I think,
our defense was doing extremely well.
We could have
just our offense was extremely.
Our defense was playing lockdown like that. I don't know if you remember that AJ Brown touchdown. Just the most perfect. That's probably the best pass I saw.
Perfect.
That
it was
pass
like a one-handed catch by. Oh,
and then he just takes it and dives into the end zone. Oh my! I'm like only against us, man. I'm like that's.
Tannehill's a freak on his own, and
now he has Julio Jones.
And Julio Jones. That offense is literally
that offense is gonna be scary.
They're so scary.
But yeah, our defense played good that game. Our run defense was great. Like the analysis that Sharp did was saying that our defense matches greatly against those that are run dependent. So that's why I think that this year, low key, the Ravens game will be a good matchup. I don't think that it's going to be the blowout that people will expect. I think that it'll be a decent game.
I don't think we're going to have any blowouts. Yeah. I think now that we're going to have an offense that can stay on the field a little bit longer, our defense will get rest. Our defense will be strong. I don't think we're going to have any blowouts.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that like we match up very well against the Ravens because they don't really have They don't have much receivers. Our cornerbacks, we have Jalen Johnson, but then who else after that? So, but then our defensive line is insane.
Yeah, I mean we have Eddie Goldman who's good, who's crazy against the run, who's coming back. Akeem Hicks is crazy against the run. I mean he's single-handedly stopped Delvin Cook and like Tannehill. I mean not Tannehill, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack is one of the best edge rushers against the run. There was not like I think that
he was top 5 in run stop block rate for outside linebackers. So he's great. He's great against the run. He's one of the best.
Yeah. So and Roquan extremely well.
Roquan 18 tackles for loss last year. Leading the league.
Like
absurd.
Against the run, against the pass, he's extremely good. That's why like against the run, like I really am not scared against a good running back because there really hasn't been like a solid running back that's proven themselves besides Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones did like run all over us.
Aaron Jones. Yeah, last year I watching those games. He just managed to get a first down every single time.
Their offensive line is crazy.
Yeah, their offensive line is great too.
Such big holes for him. That's why I think that any run like dependent
Mm-hmm.
team, I think we'll do fine. And I don't think we're gonna get blown out by them.
So looking at the Bears' defensive breakdown, we were 17th in net yards per pass. So our secondary was middle of the pack last year, around there. We were eighth in yards per carry. So without Eddie Goldman, we had a great D line, eighth in yards per carry. We were solid against running backs last year. But
Yeah, I think we're gonna be better against the run.
oh,
I think
we're
we're gonna be
definitely gonna
better
be better
against the
against
run.
the run with Eddie Goldman back. It's gonna be
I think our
absurd.
defense is gonna be a lot better this year if Sean Desai actually is
Mhm.
who we think he is. Who holds the Vic Fangio
Yeah.
defensive key. I think our defense will be a lot better this year, and I think the net yards per pass, yards per carry,
Hmm.
missed tackles will definitely improve because
Yeah.
Roquan Smith picked it up. Roquan Smith was
Yeah,
like,
Roquan was getting spun on spun
yeah,
on in the beginning of the year, but he fixed his act up and he was great. He really just he was elite the entire year after that.
and Eddie Jackson missed a lot of tackles, which
Hmm.
hopefully he fixes that. And also we have to remember like Buster Screed missed a lot of tackles too.
That's true.
So and we don't have him
We
anymore.
need to
So
focus on another stat there: turnover rate, 8.9%, 28th. We
yeah,
need to
we
get
didn't get
turnovers. We need to get turnovers. I'm looking up Jalen Johnson highlights. He has 16 passes deflected, and every single one of them looked like they could have been interception. He had several dropped interceptions, but
he needs
he's
to
great.
practice the air up. Yeah,
Yeah.
he needs to practice the air up because almost so many of those passes could have been an
You
interception.
watched the Green Bay game. We almost picked off Aaron Rodgers about 4 times. Just the
Yeah.
amount of dropped interceptions that we had on him. It's absurd. We need to get those turnovers more.
Yeah, we're very unlucky with turnover. We're usually a turnover team, like a
Yeah.
turnover heavy
So
team.
last year was a little bit unexpected, or a little bit
Um,
disappointing.
but like I
Honestly.
said, like remember when we had Vic Fangio
Hmm.
and we're like the number one in turnover. So that's why like if Sean Desai holds a key to Vic Fangio's
Hmm.
defense, if he is who we think he is, we'll be that'll turn on like 180. Like we'll be like
I
top like
think so
10.
too. I really hope that he is who we think he is, because the amount of slander that I've seen on the Bears is absurd. People are putting us at a 5-win team, and we were just an 8-win team. And our offense got better, and our defense. Yes, we lost but we're getting Eddie Goldman back, and we replaced him. I think that's fair, because I think that getting Desmond Trufant and Eddie Goldman back is around the same price to pay for losing Kyle Fuller. But then you also have a new defensive coordinator. We have Sean Desai, who was a safeties coach. So Eddie Jackson should have a bounce back year.
I
Uh,
don't think he can be worse than Chuck Pagano as a defensive coordinator.
yeah, it's
Chuck
pretty
Pagano,
pretty low
extremely
threshold.
good. In the past, not good anymore.
Hmm.
That's
He
his
plays well
style's
football,
outdated. Yeah.
definitely. But we need another stat. 21.4% in blitz rate. We didn't really blitz the quarterback last year. I would see so many plays where Mac was in coverage, or we didn't have many plays where our linebackers or our cornerbacks or safeties were blitzing the quarterback. And that's all just defensive scheme, but I'd like to see. Looking at the blitz rate, doesn't faze me, but I just want to see more pressures, honestly.
I
Pressures
don't
is
know
what we need.
why. I don't know why I thought we blitzed a lot more. I thought we honestly blitzed more. I don't know why I thought that.
Mhm.
Um,
I saw one too
maybe
many plays of Robert Quinn and Mac in coverage, and
I
that's
used
when
to
I
see
knew
a
we
lot of
had.
Mac in coverage. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to see a lot of Mac in coverage. You're right.
So the blitz rate is very low, but it'll be interesting to see how Sean Desai molds his defense and how he plays. But overall, I have very high hopes, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy Bears Blitz podcast. Be sure to follow us on all social media. We're posting on Instagram. We're posting a lot on TikTok. We're posting some good content there. So be sure to follow us on there. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on everywhere that we distribute our podcast: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, everything. Thank you so much for listening and take care.
Peace.